Hello everyone, my name is Clantus and welcome to my YouTube channel, and I do ask your forgiveness. There is noise outside. I'm currently making this video a little bit earlier because I just got back home. So without further ado, let's get into today's video because guys, the day that we've been waiting for, it looks like every time there's Dr. Nandipha Magudumana and Thabo Bester appearing in court, we're always waiting for that day, and we've been waiting for a very long time. So nothing was surprising for me. I have had some conversations offline with some people regarding the Thabo Bester matter sitting today, and I had said that it is going to get postponed, and I wanted to say the same thing here, but there are some people who always have the urge of coming to my comment section and say, "You're not an expert. How would you know? The experts say this and the expert says that." I get it, and I respect what the experts are saying, but you must also understand that the experts are not like me. I'm on the public gallery. I can say whatever I want. Experts need to be careful because they have to go according to ethos and working. They are regulated, let me put it that way. So they can't necessarily say something that might turn out to be the opposite of what they said. But me, on the other end, with my two IQs that are rubbed together every time I am in front of the camera, then I can do that. It's my opinion. It's how I see things. That's how they make sense in this head of mine. And I do not have to dispute or rebut any experts in whatever it is that they have to say about this case. I hope we understand each other there. I'm just using my brains, that's all. That's it. Whether you agree with my brains or you don't agree with my brain, that is life. I accept that. So in this video, I'm going to be going backwards as to what had transpired in the Bloemfontein Magistrates Court today. As you guys know, that the Thabo Bester saga basically picked up today, and this time around it had 9 accused standing before the magistrates, and of course, as you know, the main culprits being Dr. Nandipha Magudumana and Thabo Bester himself. So let's start with Zander Moyo. Zander Moyo came to court with a lawyer. I think his name is Bonolo, no, let's get the name right. His name is Bonolo Tebe, and Bonolo Tebe did indicate to the court that Mr. Moyo will not be applying for bail. As a matter of fact, he's abandoning his bail application. You and I already know why this is going, why he actually decided to abandon bail, because number one, he is a foreign national, and number two, he does stand a high risk of skipping the country should he ever be granted bail. But the fact that he did not escape, that's a whole nother story and a whole nother thought of mine as to why I think he did not skip the country. So on Mr. Moyo's side, that was that. He just decided, you know what, I'm going to abandon bail. I'm going to have my thoughts at the end of the video, what I thought about him abandoning his bail, but my main reason, I think I've already said it. The state was quite happy not to oppose the abandonment of his bail application. It accepted it, and therefore the magistrates ruled that accused number 9's bail application not exactly denied, but it is abandoned. Then the second highlight for me in the magistrates court was Sikhileni's lawyer, who stood up and had the audacity to tell the court or request or apply to the court that Mr. Sikhileni, in the next appearance, if he could skip it. In my mind, I was like, you're an accused. Your client is an accused. The whole purpose of a doc is so that he is in there and facing the people he has committed the crimes that he's been accused of in the dock, and he needs to appear on a daily basis. No special treatments, privileges, and preferential treatments in a criminal case like this one. There is no way. I would have had a protest myself if he was granted that request. Fortunately, there was a back and forth between Mr. Sikhileni's lawyer as well as the magistrate. The magistrate was asking very important questions. That what happens if you or him don't appear before the court on the 8th of August? What is the court to do? And of course, his lawyer could not argue further than he applying that he skip his bail. Skip his appearance on the next court appearance. He made excuses that it's 1,000 or over 1,000 kilometers from Port Edward to Bloemfontein. If Mr. Sikhileni did commit the crimes that he's accused of, he should have thought of that. He should have thought that, listen, people, I live in Port Edward. It's 1,000 kilometers away from Bloemfontein or anywhere else where I might stand trial. So what I also found quite interesting was that the state tried to explain what Mr. Sikhileni's lawyer was trying to say to the magistrate, which to me told me that the state was not opposing the fact that Mr. Sikhileni is applying to skip the next court appearance, which I was like, okay, what do you know that we? Of course, they know something that we don't. And I still think it is what I've been always saying, that Mr. Sikhileni, there is no case against him. It's just that they need to do these formalities until he is acquitted of all the charges that he's accused of. But the magistrate was like, I'm sorry, I'm not going to grant this application because my pertinent question I asked could not be answered, and therefore Mr. Sikhileni will appear in the next court appearance. So somebody asked me a question that how come all lawyers agreed that the matter should be postponed on the 8th of August 2023, and so I took this individual on an explanation that sometimes before a court case starts, the state and the defense lawyer can sit down and put things together, agree on some few things that they don't necessarily have to take into court and prolong the sitting of the court. Instead, they can just cut everything outside of the court. So the defense lawyers and the state will sit together and agree on some few things. So in this case, that is exactly what had happened. The state went to the defense attorneys and said, listen, guys, I am here to ask you if we could postpone this matter to the 8th of August 2023. Probably the 8th of August was proposed by the state to the defense attorneys. Of course, the defense attorneys themselves, because they want a fair trial for their clients, then therefore agreed that the 8th of August will be a suitable day for the matter to be postponed to, so that the state can continue with the investigations. So after that agreement, of course, one by one, they stood before the magistrate confirming that the 8th of August will be the right date or the suitable date to postpone the matter for the reasons of investigations to be concluded. Then I was like, okay, fine. I expected that because when Mr. Moyo was arrested and he was brought before the court today, chances of the matter being postponed were quite high because he would have just gotten himself a lawyer. The lawyer would still have familiarized himself or herself with the case, and probably Moyo's lawyers would have come to say we are seeking postponement so that we can familiarize ourselves more with the case, and then they would have given a sort of a date, and the court probably would have ruled in their favor, which I think it would have done so. So, of course, the court then ruled that the 8th of May 2023 will be the next sitting of the Bloemfontein Magistrates Court in the Thabo Bester saga. And of course, those that were not granted bail the previous time when they applied for bail, they were remanded in custody. Accused number 2 and accused number 8, that is being Mr. Sikhileni and Ms. Jensen. Of course, they had to go home, but they were ordered to return to court on the 8th of August 2023 for that sitting. Then the biggest drama, I thought, in a way, I'm glad that they did what they did. Thabo Bester's lawyer, that is Mr. Pila, he stood up and made an application to recuse himself and Thabo Bester's instructing attorneys from representing Thabo Bester. Of course, as you guys know, I've done 2 videos on these individuals. As you guys know, that Mr. Pila is accused of fraud and corruption, allegedly. And Mr. Ndo, he is accused of assault and raping, and allegedly. And they also have to appear in the very same court. I think one is appearing tomorrow. I think that's Mr. Ndo is appearing tomorrow at the Bloemfontein Magistrates Court. And then on the 26th of June is going to be Mr. Phila's turn to face the music. I found that the recusal was an appropriate move by both the lawyers. As you guys know, and I've said this in my previous video when I was talking about these two lawyers, that the principle of fit and proper must always be practiced, must always be in the forefront of any legal practitioner, because you would not want to put your fraternity into disrepute. Because if you're accused of crimes of fraud and corruption, assault, and that other assault, then you should actually recuse yourself. As a matter of fact, I would say resign, go and sort out the matter. If you are found to be cleared of that matter you've been accused of, and then you can come back to the bar or go back to the attorney's role and continue practicing, rather than being dragged there screaming and kicking at the same time, putting the profession into disrepute. I did see some people saying to me in my previous video when I was talking about these two lawyers that they are innocent until proven guilty. I agree. I totally agree. But let me tell you something. In the legal fraternity, hypocrisy is so high there. And then when I say hypocrisy, what I mean is, in as much as lawyers defend their clients around innocent until proven guilty, but that does not apply to lawyers when they're accused of crime. You have to just let it go and sort out your issue. If you are innocent, then you come back. This whole innocent until proven guilty thing, it does not necessarily work. It's on black and white, yes. And of course, the fraternity itself will come out in public and say, oh, they are innocent until proven guilty. But behind closed doors, they are told, dude, you got to resign. De-roll yourself, debar yourself, and then go sort out the matter. That happens behind closed doors. And I believe in this case, that's exactly what had happened to Mr. Phila and Mr. Ndo. Of course, the magistrate needed to find out from Thabo Bester if indeed his legal team had consulted with him and had an agreement about them recusing themselves from representing him in court. And Thabo Bester confirmed and said indeed they had agreed that they will recuse themselves, and therefore the court ruled that Mr. Phila and Mr. Ndo are now recused from the Thabo Bester matter. And as a result of that, of course, they were not carrying any instructions from Thabo Bester. However, Thabo Bester did not waste time, because he already had a legal representative by the name of Kabelo Matia. And so Kabelo Matia also had some sort of an agreement with the state, where he asked the state that in the next appearance of Thabo Bester, he should be in the Bloemfontein Magistrates Court physically. Now, that to me was like, I don't think the Department of Correctional Services is going to allow that. Okay, of course, it is not their prerogative to say no. They still also have to apply to the Bloemfontein Magistrates Court, lodging an application to say why they believe that Thabo Bester should not be appearing in the Bloemfontein Magistrates Court physically. Of course, they would cry safety and security, not only for Thabo Bester, but also for the members of the Department of Correctional Services. And I think that application will be appropriate, because the person that is going to be in danger is not only going to be Thabo Bester, but the entire crew that is going to be transporting Thabo Bester to Bloemfontein from Pretoria. So I would understand that application. Whether that application is going to make it through or not, it remains to be seen, unless the Department of Correctional Services puts up a very strong application or argument as to why Thabo Bester needs to appear virtually in all of his court appearances. And I can tell you personally, I think Thabo Bester should remain virtually in his appearance in court rather than physically. So the state, of course, did not oppose the idea of Thabo Bester appearing physically at the Bloemfontein Magistrates Court in his next appearance. Again, that will remain to be seen. And of course, the magistrates did make an order that Thabo Bester is to appear physically in his next court appearance on the 8th of August 2023. And so Thabo Bester was remanded in custody. There was another question about why Thabo Bester is now wearing the prison uniform. Instead, he is wearing Louis Vuitton, and the last time he was wearing a Burberry, hoodie. And the simple answer is, in as much as he's a convicted criminal, you must also understand that he escaped from lawful custody. And when you escape from lawful custody, that is a crime on its own. And as a result of that, he has to go through the similar processes that he had gone through when he was first accused of rape, as well as and murder. And so now, because he escaped from prison, which is a crime, therefore he is considered innocent until proven guilty. I know. He is innocent until proven guilty. That's our law, unfortunately. So as a person that is innocent, he is still not convicted for escaping, let alone has gone through a trial for escaping. So that is why he comes to court wearing civilian clothing rather than the orange jumpsuit or whatever it is that they are wearing at CIMAX prison. So that is why he is wearing a civilian clothes, because he's still an accused. He's not convicted for escaping. He's only convicted for the other charges that he's accused of. And the question also was asked, why did he have to apply for bail? That's because he escaped from prison. Now that he's brought back, he's innocent until proven guilty, and therefore his constitutional right to liberty kicked in. Hence, he had to apply for bail. And if he's granted bail, the people are like, so then that means he's going to walk free? Of course not. Remember, his home is prison because he's serving a life sentence. So when he is granted bail, he goes back to prison where his actual home is for the next 65 years. So that he's not going to walk free, of course, because he's been recaptured. And which is currently, there's a question mark on that one. We'll talk about that. So here are my thoughts. So I do agree, and I'm happy that Thabo Bester's lawyers did recuse themselves to go and focus on the criminal charges themselves that they've been allegedly accused of. I also agree that Thabo Bester should not have wasted any more time by not getting himself a new legal team, because the last thing that he wants is for this matter to continue to delay, because he too has some aces up his sleeves. Remember, he is waiting for Dr. Nandipha Magudumana's Supreme Court of Appeal application on her application that was ruled against her by the Bloemfontein High Court regarding her extradition to South Africa, or unlawful arrest in Tanzania, or whatever it is that she's crying about in her papers that I still have not seen. So he's waiting to see the outcomes of that court application before he makes his own. Remember, he too had he was caught in Tanzania as a criminal, a convicted criminal, and you know that extradition processes for a convicted person has to go through international laws of extradition. As for Zander Moyo, I think Zander Moyo foresaw that if he made an application for bail, he was not going to get it, simply because he probably not a legal immigrant in South Africa. I'm not sure, but let's assume he is a legal immigrant in South Africa. But because he is not a South African citizen and his home is in Zimbabwe, definitely the state would have opposed his bail application on the grounds that he was a flight risk. And I think his lawyer also foresaw that and advised him, abandon this one. We will fight another battle as this matter continues. Dr. Nandipha Magudumana once again appeared in court like a lady who has never seen a cell in her life, looking very nice, very put together, very poised, and of course she's gone back to acting. That confidence, that hi everybody, kind of like went away. Remember the first time she appeared in court, you could almost feel sorry for her. Well, she's gone back to that character. And only goodness knows why she's gone back to that character, because that ship has sailed. Anybody that felt bad for her probably no longer feels bad for her. But at the same time, I was seeing people going, "Oh my God, this lady is so beautiful. Oh, she's so beautiful. There's no way she's guilty of all this she's been accused of. Oh, Thabo Bester is the one that was that ABU da 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 word." So they were sympathizing one more time with her, but there were a lot of people like, once bitten, twice shy. This girl is guilty as charged, and they kept talking and reminding those that were sympathizing with Dr. Nandipha Magudumana. This is the same lady who stole Katlego Bereng's body and used it as a decoy to help her boyfriend escape from Mangaung Correctional Center. So about the postponement, my thoughts is that I'm not surprised that today's proceedings were postponed for the 8th of August 2023. Even on the 8th of August 2023, this matter is still not going to sit. It's going to be postponed. Remember, the state did indicate to the court that 3 more arrests are eminent from the investigations. And of course, when these 3 people are brought before the court, them too are going to be told that they are going to be remanded until the 8th of August 2023, when they will get a chance to apply for bail. Come the 8th of August 2023, they will then tell the court that they are not ready to proceed with the matter because they still have to get themselves lawyers who are going to apply bail for them, etc., and so on. And of course, that sitting itself is going to be postponed. And if any other arrests take place in between whatever date that is going to be determined after the 8th of August, those new people that will be arrested will also be given the permission, an opportunity to apply for bail, and them too will seek postponement. This matter, I don't see it sitting in 2023. I'm talking trial wise, not in 2023, but I think this matter will sit or be transferred to the High Court around this time in 2024. Around this time, it is when the matter will start going to court for trial. So right now, let's brace ourselves. Let's see who are the people that are going to be brought before the court, meaning the people that are going to be arrested. And I bet that is not the big fish that we've been waiting for. It's still going to be the small fish of these 3 people that are coming or that are going to be arrested. And until a big fish or big fish are caught, then I will start taking this matter quite seriously. But right now, where are the big fish? Who are they? Bring them before the people of South Africa, because they have caused a stir, and and somebody's child was killed in the process, and his body was burnt beyond recognition, and that family is seeking justice. The people of South Africa are seeking justice on behalf of that family, because this could have happened to absolutely anybody. So when I rub my 2 IQs together, it kind of like tells me this matter, June, July 2024, it is when it's going to start. Talking about the trial. Unless more arrests are made, then it's just going to keep pushing and pushing and pushing until everybody is collected. And I want to make this call one more time. If you've ever came across, interacted, did business, worked for Thabo Bester and or Dr. Nandipha Magudumana, I still say, hand yourself over. Hand yourself over and tell the person, I don't know on what charges that you are going to arrest me for, but I worked with Thabo Bester and Dr. Nandipha Magudumana. I did business with Thabo Bester and Dr. Nandipha Magudumana. And let them see during the investigations where they fit you in. And if there is a crime that you may be caught, you may be accused of, then turn into a state witness. Turn into a state witness, because let me tell you something about handing yourself over now, is that it mitigates on your punishment should you be found guilty. So if you are found guilty of having aided and abetted Thabo Bester or committed some crimes with Thabo Bester, then you handing yourself over, you mitigate yourself. You mitigate the punishment, basically the sentence. The sentence, instead of it being 15 years, it might be probably 9, 10 years, 5 years at most, or even 3. Oh, I almost forgot another thing that is going to delay this matter completely, probably even halted. It's Dr. Nandipha Magudumana's application at the Supreme Court of Appeal. If she wins that application, then of course she is going to be set free. And of course she is going to be rearrested. And the order of the accused, instead of her being accused number, what is she now? Accused number 3. She's accused number 3, right? Instead of being accused number 3, she would now go at the back of the line. She'll probably be accused number 15 if more people been arrested in the meantime. Or maybe accused number 20, we don't know. And that also is going to lead for her to apply for bail. And of course, I think there she will get the bail as she poses no flight risk. And secondly, because the Supreme Court of Appeal would have rendered her arrest in Tanzania or extradition as unlawful. And so she comes before the Bloemfontein Magistrates Court as a freshly arrested person who poses no flight risks. And that is why I think she is going to be granted that bail, as well as the Bloemfontein Magistrates Court being influenced or persuaded by the Supreme Court of Appeal ruling. So yeah, that is going to delay the process. And Thabo Bester, like I said earlier, himself will be looking at the outcomes of this very application. Remember, when he was caught in Tanzania, he was an escapee from conviction. And remember, a convicted criminal that escapes the country, whatever country they land at, an extradition process needs to take place before they are brought back home. Thabo Bester, there was no extradition process that took place between Tanzania and South Africa. Even if Tanzania did deport Thabo Bester, in Thabo Bester's case, deportation doesn't work. It's not even something that you even consider. Extradition is what kicks in because he's a convicted criminal. But he was brought to South Africa together with Dr. Nandipha Magudumana, and I believe he also stands a chance of winning that case as well at the Bloemfontein High Court. The High Court being persuaded by the precedent that Dr. Nandipha Magudumana would have secured in her own application. So, well, guys, I think I have covered everything that I wanted to cover in this video. If you liked the video, give it a like. If you did not like the video, give it a like anyway. Thank you so much for the 4,000 subscribers. Yay! And here to the next 1,000 subscribers. And I hope that you guys really enjoy my commentaries. I do get feedback from you guys, and you seem to be enjoying my commentaries around these cases, and you are suggesting more criminal cases, even cases that are happening in the US. Y'all want me to cover them. Donald Trump, you want me to cover Donald Trump? Okay, I'll see what I can do about that. But anyways, do leave me a comment down below. Do subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to click the bell notification and share this video far and wide. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.